Good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, good morning, good morning. So, where in the world is Anthony? I'm actually not far from my house. I went to go pick up groceries this morning. I've been up since 2, been working since 3, but needed to get groceries for today. So, I figured, you know what, let me get that out the way now. And I was literally like 100 feet from my place, and I'm like, I don't want to be late for my live, especially since I canceled it yesterday. So, I wanted to share the reason I canceled with you yesterday. That was the email last night. I'm not going to get much into it. I don't know how many opportunities one has in life to have the most meaningful moment of their life. I'm 37. I'll live for many, many more years. I have a lot of goals. I suspect I'll have a lot of really great moments. Um, so I don't know if this next sentence is true, but it feels that way. I think the moment I was able to capture last night could easily. I would have lived a good life if that was the best moment I ever had. So it was important to me, and I did want to share it with everyone. Business, for as long as I guess anyone ever really thought of it, was here's my product, here's my service, here's my cost, here's what I'm charging you for. And if I could have enough people that I'm able to facilitate and I'm able to max that out, well, then conceivably I could earn this much every single month or every single day or every single year, you name it. But I find, especially since during COVID, I think COVID, what it revealed more than anything was how replaceable products and services actually were. Now, I'm not talking about a good doctor or a good, well, no, let me take that back. Although I appreciate the work that doctors do to become doctors, I'd rather say surgeon. I don't want to say anything bad about doctors, but anytime you ever go to one, they cover themselves first. Oh, well, have you looked at this? According to my studies, it can be this. And it's almost like they seriously just synthesize their books in their head, put their malpractice insurance on top of it, weighed that calculation out, and they offer you the solution that has, I guess, really most popular. And the thing about most popular solutions is it works most of the time. But what if you need something that's not the most popular? Well, you need somebody to be able to think and say, okay, well, I have a brain. That's why I'm in the position I'm in. And although most of the time you would be having ABC, I see this and I think you have DEF because that's the person that's valuable. It's not the doctor that says the same thing as everyone else. So before I go on a rant about doctors, I meant surgeons because surgeons actually are in there. But there are like cops. There are some professions where you just need a really, really the most talented person, sports, all the rest of it. But if you're selling shirts, if you're selling food, if you're selling professional services, if you're a real estate agent, if you're any of the things that don't require you to be irreplaceable to your customer, business used to be that way. And it used to be that way because you didn't have internet marketing destroying your home, didn't have internet marketing destroying your main street. You see, if a main street, let's say a community had 20,000 people, well, in that community of 20,000 people, they would need X amount of restaurants, X amount of shoe stores, X amount of general stores, what have you. Meaning that as long as you were able to provide a good product and a good service at an affordable rate that the people that live next to you, your community, your neighbors, respected, then you were always going to be in business. It didn't actually matter if you were a good guy or not. It certainly helped, but if there's only one shoe store in town, people buy shoes there despite not liking the owner. So business forever has always been that way because consumers were constricted to location, and location held the leverage. Internet marketing changed the game, and COVID, oh my God, it accelerated to such a point that during COVID, you had all this money sloshing around the system. Every big bank, everyone just made a ton of money. We needed this bailout, that bailout. There was money everywhere. And unfortunately, what happened to the small businesses were they were deemed non-essential, so they were put out of business on purpose. So the large businesses, instead of sitting there saying, hey, listen, we just earned their customers, they're like, no, let's make this permanent. Let's go ahead and invest further and further. Let's cut our prices even more. Let's go ahead and get these customers to be so dependent on us for life that when those small businesses reopen, what the hell? Why would they ever leave us? Because the big businesses also know there's a thing called inflation, there's a thing called macroeconomics. You don't need to be a genius to know that if there's like $5 trillion being printed today, there's going to be inflation at some point. So when these small businesses reopened, they had labor inflation. They couldn't pay their employees that they let go at $13 an hour. Now they have to pay them $18 an hour just to get them back. They could not afford wholesale pricing. They were making slim margins on buying something for $5 and selling it for $6. Now the thing for $5 is $6. What? They don't have the labor. They can't make the profit. Um, Assuming that they still even had the building, which they likely didn't. The building probably went for eviction. They didn't have the credit to go ahead and get a new store because how could you? You just got evicted. And now you don't have any business. The people that were able to stay in business or at least evolve with the market were those that were able to tap into like the underbelly, the zeitgeist of the nation. Because people are still people. The story I just told you is ugly. Everyone listening to this would say, I would never be okay with that. That sounds gross. Well, how do you go ahead and represent that behavior? Do you say, all right, well, I'm not going to buy the thing on Amazon for $10 and instead I'll buy it from that guy for $15 just because I want to go show him something? And the answer could be yes, but how many people would also do it, right? And how many people would do that for perpetuity? The number gets lower and lower to the point that by the time a month or two passes, that initial goodwill, which is really you giving charity because you could buy the same thing for a smaller price, you supporting that business, now you're not only not able to afford it, but even if you are, you can see it's a futile effort because the business is going to go out of business anyway. The economy ate him. The market ate him. That wasn't even so much of a solution that you would go ahead and do, and maybe you did, right? But more so than that, how can you really, really go ahead and represent and stand behind those people? Well, you don't know. Because if you knew, everyone would do it. That's the thing with business. If there was a tutorial, like a guide, if you do A, B, and C, you'll make this. Well, there is. It's called being an employee. That's how that works. Anyone that owns a business that thinks, okay, if I do this, this, and this, I'm going to make $1 bazillion, you won't. That's called being an employee. So in terms of how do you build a business that does connect, well, you have to do it more with who you are. Because again, if we went ahead and identified that the reason that people would be able to kind of support you past looking at, say, prices or any of that nature, is because they see themselves in you. They see that the collection of people, whether consumer or business in this equation, has all been taken advantage of by you name it, right? And when community members that went to school together, that had soccer practice together, whose kids are friends, understand that they're in the same boat together and that there's a solution that makes sense without interfering in their life and actually gives them additional purpose in life and allows them to spread a good message that they feel that they, by their efforts, are directly responsible for the success of that message, well, then the answer is yes, they do it. Now, that's something that I've always tapped into. This isn't Anthony's popular because he identified the market we're in. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Anthony's popular because the market is conducive to who Anthony is. I'm an open book. In fact, when everyone offered me the character witnesses and testimonials, which thank you, they were beautiful. There was one individual, it's like, Anthony just shares too much. I tell him every day, stop sharing so much. You don't know how people could take advantage of you. But to his credit, nobody ever has. And I think the reason is he was right. There is something genuine there that people literally look at and say, no, this is what the world needs more of. And thinks that me sharing who I am as a person, when they think that me sharing who I am as a person is the asparagus or the potatoes, they're missing the point. It is the steak. It is the business. It is everything. There's no reason to pick fights. But there also is a line. And I think more than anything that you attribute the decay of this country and society as a whole is that everyone's lines have been moved. And everyone says, okay, I'm not going to give you 5 inches. All right, fine. I'm not going to give you 5.5 though. Okay, I'm not going to give you 6 though. And at some point, society looks at that person that says, no, you know what? I trust that person. And again, I think I always bring things back to the Trump campaign. And again, it's not politics, but I guess at this point you could probably guess that I like the individual. And I won't speak anything on policy, although I could have that conversation. But I think the people that voted him, the belief that they had was, I know that he will not give an inch. That whether he wins or loses, succeeds or fails, he's going to do it on the hill of, I did it my way, which is why we all love Frank Sinatra, right? I did it my way. So that's my commentary. It's already a little bit long. Let me get to the good stuff. Rhino Bucks, I haven't touched yet. I suspect it's still doing good. Talked to the team yesterday. Things are going well there. I'm totally behind on Rhino Friend, but I have to get it done. So I will be doing some of it today and finishing it for tomorrow. Oh, this is good. I did contact Stripe about becoming a financial depository institution. We got past stage one. Now we have a call with them. They're going to book it. I don't have the time yet. They're going to get back to me, which is totally cool. I found some cool stuff for Rhino Friend that I didn't even mention that we might be able to do for the 1.0. And that's it. Otherwise, everything's going good. You see, right now, everything's just in production. So these calls should be updates. It goes back to the original debate. Is Rhino successful because of the economy, or is Rhino perfectly fit in it? And I think one way or another, everyone always knows, I know Anthony, I know where he stands. And regardless of the outcome, I'll never change. So I love y'all, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.